Hello and welcome to Fox Friday by Fragmasters in Live for Speed for round 44 at South City Chicane Route Wisdom Broadcasts. I'm Peter Butcher and joining me tonight is Michael Málek. Michael, how are you?
Good evening everyone, I'm doing well and I'm looking forward to another exciting Fox Friday race.
Yeah, let's get on with tonight's show and see what we've got coming up for you. We are on round 44. This is the penultimate broadcasted round of the championship, and all eyes after tonight will be on that final round. Of course, there will be 5 rounds of racing before then, so we wait to see really what the state of play is in the championship standings by the time we get to December. But back to tonight, we are at South City Chicane Route, which is the latest addition to the South City environment. It is a 2.9 kilometre, 1.8 mile track with 10 corners. Tonight we're going to have 2 34-lap races with a mandatory pit stop each, and that second race, which is a feature race, which has that top 15 reverse grid, which we always look forward to, Michael. But first of all, it's a one-shot qualifying session, which the drivers have been gearing up for, which should begin in a couple of moments' time. Michael, this is a difficult track, especially with that chicane.
Yeah, absolutely, and since the qualifying is essentially one shot, it's a great equalizer because people can make mistakes and have to start from worse position than they would normally start. So we can expect some interesting strategies after mishaps like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Here is the car we always use, the 2-litre inline-4 mid-engine rear-wheel drive Formula XR, which is ever popular in Live for Speed, still is all the time, used in, well, as many championships as you can mention, really. But Fox Friday is where we see it week in, week out. And let's see what the state of the championship standings are. The drivers' championship standings are being led and have probably, let's face it, been wrapped up already by TJ from Roda Praiser, with Rex in P2, Roger Chen, Gabor, Zesty, Happy D, Onifus, Dr. Al Payson, and Pekka Koivunen rounding out your top 10. Michael, it's pretty much written, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems so, but these guys will fight for the victory anyway, and I'm sure that no matter how much of the points difference in between them is, we are expecting some great action.
Yeah, and we've had an enormous number of entries into the championship this year so far. In fact, more than most series in the For Speed can really boast. But yeah, excellent turnout as usual for Fox Friday. The series, as I mentioned before, ever popular, and we thank everybody for turning up week in, week out. So if your name is on this list, well done, and hopefully you'll be scoring more points towards the end of the year and joining us for the 2 rounds that remain on the channel. So yeah, tonight and the final in December. Plenty of names to read out, and there 146th Colin there with 1 point. But yeah, that is pretty much that. Let's have a look at the team's championship standings before we head into the racing action. Roda Praiser lead this by almost 300 points, or just over 200 points, should I say, over the Fragmasters team, with Sidus there in P3. Your team, Master Race Car, P4, Michael, with Happy D and Johnny SVK.
Yeah, we need to do better, but I think P4 for my teammates is still a very great result.
Well, P4 out of however many teams we've got a lot of teams entered into this championship. So yeah, well done for getting that high up in what is a pretty competitive series. We have some drivers on track for their outlaps before they set their one-shot qualifying time. Michael, let's head to the track.
Let's go.
Okay, so who have we got out on the track at the moment? It looks like we have Al Payson and Strutter doing some outlaps, but it's Al who is out on the track at the moment. It's unusual to see Al out first, but there we go. He's out first.
Yeah, at least Al is first in the connection list, which is essentially the rule Fragmaster is going by every week, so he has every right to be the first to qualify.
Yeah. No objection from me there. as Al exits the penultimate corner under the flyover and down to the start-finish line to begin his first and the first flying lap of the session. Goes very wide to carry as much speed down to the first corner as possible, and hard on the brakes for the right-hander hairpin. We'll see plenty of moves being made into there as the drivers battle it out into the braking zone over the bumps and the twists through the first couple of 100 meters down to T1, and then another long run down to T2, which culminates normally in a lot of side-by-side action before the drivers need to be single file, ideally, for the frictionless run that they will hopefully have through this, the chicane, the part of the track that gives the circuit its name. And as quick as you like, we're down to the final couple of corners again. Oh, a little bit of a twitch there, Michael, on the exit.
Yeah, it was a little mistake from Opazon, but I think it will be a very strong provisional pole position time. Let's see how well it goes for him as he will cross the finish line in a few seconds. And it's just over a minute, 1 minute, 2 seconds, 86 hundredths of a second, which is not a bad time at all, but we expect him, the drivers, to improve the time. And here we are watching his teammate, Finn UK, who is also on his hot lap. Let's see how well he goes through this very tight and twisty section of fast chicane. He touches the wall briefly, but it doesn't affect his performance that much. He's already onto the final turn. Let's see if he gets through there more smoothly than his teammate, and it seems so. So he could be able to snatch that provisional pole position.
Yeah, let's see if it's an improvement over Al Payson's time. So he shoots for the second timing line, which is here, the second checkered line, and it is provisional pole by 14 hundredths. Sorry, 12 hundredths. No, it's more than that. It's less than that. No, it is. I can't do maths quickly in my head anymore. As Oni first comes across start finish to take another provisional pole time. Then we've got Gabri on the cameras, but I don't think Gabri is next. Rex is next across. Oh, Rex has had an issue. Rex has rolled that car. That rear wing is out of shape. So Rex again with not a good time. 3 seconds slower than his teammates. Firmly at the bottom of the qualifying order as we stand, with one more Fragmaster driver to go, and it's Strutter before we get the rest of the grid to set their lap times.
And Strutter so far had a very strong middle sector, so he should be able to place rather well along his teammates. So far only 4 times are recorded on the timing tower. Let's see where Strutter ends up.
Oh. Convincingly, 0.3 of a second and change ahead of Onifus. Gabri next, the first of the Master Race Car entries. And it's P5 for Gabri. Happy D will be next. Having a good championship year. Solid points. And let's see if Happy D can get up in the order. And he can, P2. Front row shared between Strutter and Happy D at the moment. We join Highwatt as they round the first proper corner on the lap, the hairpin. I'll tell you what, that's a nice livery. kind of retro. Tap of the wall. Very committed through the chicane, and that's what you get sometimes. You get stung on the exit, and that's not going to be a good time. Oh, in fact, it's an abort. So whether Hiwatt will be allowed to restart that lap remains to be seen. He's rejoined the track, but he won't be allowed to redo it. AK Destroyer, Hiwatt's teammate, will be next across the line, Michael.
Absolutely. So far, he didn't manage to destroy his own car, so that's definitely a plus for him. And let's see what his lap will be when he finishes this particular one. He's about to cross the start-finish line now, and it's only 7th place, so he will have to start from the back of the grid pretty much.
Pekka Koivunen under the underpass and up to start finish to set his time. The only World Class Lions driver here this evening. And it's a 1:02.33, which is good enough for 2nd place at the moment. Two turns to go, 1 turn to go now for road appraiser Doctor. Himself and TJ leading the way in the team's championship by a convincing margin. And across start finish in P3. Next is Rubsty. Don't worry, TJ is on the track, but did not follow Doctor out of the pits. So up to start finish for Rubsty. And across the line to take P9 in qualifying. And then it's TJ, multiple champ.
Yeah, TJ is really on a mission, and so far he has scored the fastest first split. So unless he terribly messes up rest of this lap, he should be able to compete for the pole position. So let's see if I'm right.
TJ sets the fastest time by 1.5 tenths. The first driver under the 1:02. As we turn our attention to Born to Race Rocket.
Rocket so far doesn't have very impressive first sector, so he will be in the midfield at the best. Looks like he's maybe playing cautiously, especially through that very tight and twisty section. Apparently he's the only Born to Race driver on the grid tonight, so it's all on his back. He's really carrying his team, and as he crosses the finish line, it will be... Where he is, I can see. Oh, it's P12 only, so yeah, a very cautious lap, I would say, diplomatically.
Yeah, very diplomatic from you, Michael. Nando Alonso, penultimate corner. And let's see what Nando can do. The only Born to Race driver in attendance goes P12. Not a good turnout for Born to Race tonight, but glad to have Rocket with us as Nando Alonso crosses start finish in P10. But yeah, Born to Race normally have quite a large turnout to these events, and it's Fragmaster who are putting in the big attendance tonight. Good to see all 5 of them here. Here we have Simon. Pulga just crossed the line in P13. Now it's Simon. Simon comes up to start finish. What will this be? Well, now I am confused. I can't see that name on the list. Spider-Man. Oh, Simon went 11th. Sorry. There we go. I am awake. P11 for Simon. As we switch to Spider-Man, who will be the next to cross the line. Ooh, I mean, that was a strange exit from there. Struggling to get the car up to full speed. A bit wide at the final corner. But nevertheless, we're going to get a lap time. And it's P16, penultimate place, just Rex behind. And we've got Sufor next to set a lap, just joining him at the chicane. That's a clash of colours, that, Michael. We've got pink and blue wheels with the black, red, yellow and blue body. And that looks like another abort from Sufor. That looks like a controller issue. That's a hardware problem. And he's going to roll straight...
Yeah, definitely some hardware issue. It was very unnatural mistake.
Yeah, that was unusual.
As we switch to Kurko 87, who made a mistake, and
well, it looks good. Woohoo!
Yeah.
But that's not the fastest way to drive a Fox around South City, unfortunately. Clipped the wall.
But the most impressive.
And then did some lovely drifting. But it won't be fast. Where will it be? Probably outside the top 10 with that one. Where is it going to go? Hiwatt has been allowed to set another lap. So too will Sufor, I imagine. Kirku goes P15. And we hopefully are going to see a lap from Hiwatt. This is his flying lap now. Sufor hasn't rejoined the track yet, so we wait to see whether Sufor will be allowed to set another time in the session. But Hiwatt is coming up to the start-finish line, and at the moment is our final car, P12, and that is everybody. So unless Sufor is allowed to do a lap, which remains to be seen. Well, the rest of the field are joining. Sufor is on the track, but everybody else has joined the track, so I think that's it. Sufor will start from the back. They've ended the session. That is it. So we have our call from the race organisers that is all we expect to see. So a very short qualifying session this evening, and the qualifying results are as follows. Your poleman is TJ for Road Appraiser ahead of Fragmaster Strutter on row 1. Pekka Koivunen and Doctor share row 2 with Happy D and Onifus, with Finn UK, Al Payson, Gabri and Nando Lonzo rounding out your top 10. Simon, Hiwatt, Rubsty, AK Destroyer, Pitbull, Kirko 87, Rocket, Spider-Man and Rex are the 19 qualifiers, but we do expect that Sufor will be allowed to start in P number 20. So 20 cars at a challenging track. And all of those cars are going to be filing their way through the chicane in just a few minutes' time. Michael, we've got a lot to look forward to in race 1.
Absolutely, and my money is definitely on TJ. He has a perfect starting position, and as long as something doesn't go wrong during the start, he should be able to get away and make a significant gap. So I expect him to win the race number 1 and possibly race number 2 as well, although he will have to start from P15, which will be a very challenging task to have.
Yeah, the drivers are just doing their warm-up in the background, but let's recap what's going to be happening. So in a few minutes' time, we are running ahead of schedule. There you go, there's the 300-second counter that has appeared. That is 5 minutes until the first 34-lap race, which will set the grid almost for race 2, except there's a top 15 reversed grid. So P15 in the race will start from pole, and everybody that finishes behind them will start ahead of them in the second race. So yeah, that's the one that we all look forward to, but you have to get through race 1. You have to get your points from race 1 to set your grid position for race number 2. There is TJ in the background, just doing some little bits of warm up. There's more racing action coming up for Fox Friday after tonight, of course. We have another 5 rounds of the championship still to be contended. But yeah, you can join us again on the 20th of December for round 49 of the series. We hope you can join us for that. But yeah, the action just about to kick off here as we will recap our qualifying standings. TJ will start alongside Strutter, Pekka Koivunen and Doctor, Happy D and Onifus, Finn UK, Al Payson, Gabri and Nando Alonso your top 10, with Simon, Highwatt, Rubsty, AK Destroyer, Pit Pulga, Kirko87, Rocket, Spider-Man, Rex and Sufor rounding out the top 20. Yeah, Michael, it's going to be a chaotic start down to the first hairpin because the drivers have a lot of slipstream that they'll end up being able to use. So we should see plenty of drama as they get onto the brakes.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of slipstream, but very little room to utilize that, so it will be difficult to overtake anyway. And I am seeing on the server some late joiners are still connecting, so we maybe can anticipate more than 20 cars on the grid after all.
Yeah, that'll be nice to bolster the grid a little bit. We have just around about 2.5 minutes to go before the start of race number 1. So we will enjoy a little bit of the practice session. So what is it the drivers are doing at this point, Michael? What is it they're focusing on in this sort of run up to the start? They've already done their qualifying, so I guess they'll be getting used to their race setups?
Totally. At this point, literally everyone is utilizing the race setup with race tires, which might be R2 compound for some drivers, although most of the field seems to be equipped with R1, the softest tire compound in the first speed. And they're absolutely trying to get into the rhythm because both races are 34 laps long, and you need to get good 34 laps to be able to get a decent result in these races. And considering each lap consists of that very twisty and narrow section of chicanes, it will be a very difficult task for everyone here involved.
Absolutely. Well, while the drivers finish their warm-up, welcome to the Fox Friday stream, round 44 from South City Chicane Route on Sim Broadcast. We really appreciate you joining us for the action before the drivers get going for the 34-lap race that they've got to endure. Let's take a look at the drivers and teams championship standings once again. It's TJ leading the way. He's all but got it wrapped up. Rex, bad qualifying today. He starts way down the order and is quite some significant chunk behind in the championship. However, that is still P2 in a hotly contested championship. No Roger Chen tonight, no Gabor, no Zesty. Happy D stands to gain some points tonight, as well as Onifus, Dr. Payson, Koivunen, and quite a few drivers further down. Let's see what the drivers' championship standings, team championship standings have to offer us, and that is Fragmaster and Road Appraiser at the top, but not necessarily in that order. TJ and Doctor both in attendance, Rex and Onifus both in attendance. So although the gap has opened up since we last did a broadcast, it's nice to see that these 4 drivers are still here, still fighting out, Michael, and we've still got lots to look forward to in this championship. Absolutely.
This is all about passion, being here every Friday for more than 14 years uninterrupted. This is even 700 something, and it's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. We are just seconds away from the start of race number 1, where TJ will be on the pole position with Strutter in the first row alongside him. Then it will be Pekka Koivunen, Represa Doctor, and Master Race Car Happy D. So let's check the grid.
Do the honours, Michael. Take us away for the start.
So we have TJ on the pole position with Fragmaster Strutter alongside him in the first row. We have already the red lights on, and as soon as they extinguish, which is right now, the race will be started, and looks like TJ had a perfect getaway. Meanwhile, Strutter struggled a lot and has Pekka Koivunen alongside him, and it's a then there's a row of cars behind them trying to utilize slipstream. Looks like the contact Pekka has spun, and is there a pile-up? Many cars are involved, some are hitting wall, so that's very typical for the streets of South City, especially with such a large grid. As we are watching Hivat battling with, I think that's Master Iskaz Gabriel, if I'm not mistaken. They are now entering that very twisty section, as we see TJ leading and already having almost a half a second gap over the Fragmaster starter. So yeah, the front of the grid got away really well with the backpack. Really had some shenanigans in the first turn, but it looks like everyone got away rather cleanly. And after the first lap, it's TJ, Strager, Doctor, Happy D, Alpazan, Mandolonzo, Hivat, Simon, Pekka Koivunen, and the top 10 is closed by Rupti, as we are watching Suffer making his mandatory pit stop at the end of lap 1, so there's some tactic expecting doing this to avoid most of the traffic, so now he should have a lot of clean air ahead of him and should be able to pull some decent laps. Essentially trying a long-term undercut over those who prefer to pit towards the end of the lap. As we are now watching TJ having almost a second lead over the next driver, Stratter, is Dr. Happy D. You can see that this is a place where you can go side by side, and every driver involved really knows that. Liaison in 5th place is not in a touching distance with Happy D and Doctor, who are about to fight for P3, but currently Happy D is not able to utilize the slipstream of the car ahead, so he will stick behind him, at least for the next turn.
Yeah, Happy D was really, really close to Doctor in the chicane section, but lost time coming out of the penultimate corner, and that gap has opened up quite a lot, as we see Pekka Koivunen in the slipstream of Simon, and the Leandro 911, who's joined us, has already made it up into the top 10. So Simon and Pekka side by side here. Leandro in the background making a move on Dark, who has also joined us, so it's nice to see a few late joiners to boost our grid slightly. Pekka is on the charge into P8.
Yeah, well, Dark managed to get over Leandro, so that's another position for him. And it's only a matter of literally seconds before Dark is able to attack on Simon, who is now making a hole in the air for him. But Leandro is also in the touching distance. Let's see who will be faster to capitalize. Looks like Leandro will be the one who will get the advantage into the braking zone. Let's see. Does he pull alongside? Not very much. They are picking very late, and there's no opportunity for Leandro to get alongside. But now we are on the back straight, which is another drafting slipstreaming opportunity. And it looks like not even at this point Leandro is close enough to take advantage of that. He's getting closer, but no cigar. As the car ahead is struggling, and it's a very late dive.
So opportunistic. Oh, and that's...
Oh no.
Well...
That was weird.
The only saving grace in that fight is that both cars that were affected were not involved in qualifying. I would have felt very upset if Leandro had just sent it on a car that was already involved in qualifying. That was quite dramatic. We've got plenty of side-by-side action still here. Simon and Pip Polga side-by-side now.
Shenanigan allowed them to drop to the group of cars behind them, and now we can witness some great battles, hopefully with less contact than before. As here in the middle it's Leandro, who's behind Rupsti and ahead of Fragmaster Rex, and it looks like we may have potentially a 3 wide coming into that section. There was a contact, but they managed to stay in the right direction, and it looks like both Leandro and Rex were able to take advantage of this rolling car. as they are going through this chicane here, chicane there section. Relative room for error. Leandro is braking later than Simon and makes the move, but he might be vulnerable now as Simon will be right in his tail on the longest straight of this circuit. And behind them, as we are following this battle from Rex's perspective, there's some interesting, not sure if intentional bump drafting, but it looks like it gives them opportunity to break. I mean, there was a very late break and collision, and Leandro is essentially screwed up. And yeah, he lost the momentum and position and is now under pressure from Rocket. Simon is in direct battle with Rex, but I'm sure that Rex will not allow to be taken that position away. So we are on 6 and very eventful moments so far.
Yeah, 6
It
laps
wasn't
in.
even not even the reverse grid.
Yeah, not even 6 laps in, and we've got TJ with a almost 2-second lead over Fragmaster's Strutter. Dr. P3 for Road Appraiser, Happy D in P4. Al Payson doing a solid job this evening in P5. Nice pace. With Nando Alonso P6 currently. Hiwatt is close with Pekka Koivunen. Pekka has got a slipstream here, so this could change.
In the meanwhile, Represa Dark has made his mandatory stop, so that could play into his hands. As we are watching Pekka Koivunen keeping that position, and I'm not sure if it's promoted or was able to defend P7.
No, he got ahead. Well, Pekka Koivunen has stretched a gap now, so hopefully that's that. P7 is his. As Rubsty caught up to Kirku 87 onto the start-finish straight. Which side is Rubsty going to go? Out on the outside. That move's done. We've had who's this? This is Nando Alonso's caught up to the back of Al Payson now, and has a good slipstream.
Should be able to get alongside, but he's on the less favorable part of the track. He maybe not be able to take it around the outside and takes a lot of damage.
Rocket has retired from the race. We're down to 20 cars once again, although a different 20 cars in some cases than qualified, as Nando Alonso goes wide again, and that is Pekka Koivunen. Looks like we've got an issue for Rubsty and another issue for Leandro 911 in the background, out of the chicane, sorry. Leandro's had a big impact on the exit and will be going to the pit lane to repair. So too does Rubsty. So those guys head into the pits.
And speaking of repairs, Alonso has significant damage to his left side suspension, so I think he should visit the pit lane sooner than later to repair that. So there should be a battle between Hiwatt and Pitbullga. Yeah, they are going side by side. And let's see who stays ahead. It looks like Pitbullga should have that ability. So that's Hiwatt being demoted to P9 for the time being. Most of the drivers in the field did the softest tire compound, as known as the R1s, and they are struggling heavily with tire temperatures at this point, as they are overheating so much. So it could be the reason why we see so many mistakes.
Tire compounds on the screen. A different strategy for some of the drivers on the tyre compound choice. R1s for most drivers, but R2s being used by Strutter. The harder compound might favour him later in the race. And for now, with only a 1.5 second gap, it's interesting that these tyres are performing in a kind of similar way at this stage, Michael. Fernando Alonso now in Al's draft, pulling out of the slipstream. Over start finish they go, and this could be the move. Al coming back at him. All the while, Pekka Koivunen is getting closer in the background. And Nando Alonso goes through. Up to P5, Al down to P6. Pekka Koivunen is definitely giving chase now.
Yeah, no, Nando Alonso is under pressure from Alpecin, but there's not enough room. But he makes a mistake and gives the position away.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that would have been as a result, surely, of some of the damage that Nando Alonso had on his car.
Yeah, that was a very unforced error, and it's clearly he's struggling. And I think, he's vulnerable to Pekka Koivunen. He's now denied the ability to enter the pit lane because there's a car alongside him. So I'm not sure if he had any intention, but he wasn't able. So that's another lap with the damaged car for him. As Pekka Koivunen go alongside his left side, and that would be the less favorable position into that turn, but he managed to move that stick before the braking zone. So that's 2 positions down for Nando Alonso in a span of few corners.
Yeah, making a move for P5 and then finding yourself overtaken by Pekka Koivunen. Not ideal, as we've got some moves further back, although it does look like Nando Alonso's going for it on the outside of Pekka again. Nope, thinks better of it, then decides to go for it. Contact into the first part of the downhill. Unfortunately, they both get through unscathed, but there was contact. And Nando has pace, but struggling with the car with damage. Got her fastest lap.
It looks like Nando Alonso is very stubborn with not wanting to pit, although that would be a sensible thing to do. And you can see that his pace is way worse than everyone else around him. So maybe he's hoping he will drop down to P15 for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, currently in the hot seat is Onifus, as Pekka Koivunen has the slipstream now on Alpecin. So Pekka's gone from being quite a way behind both of the cars in your shot, but and in the slipstream, Pekka losing the rear a little bit. But if there's any opportunity, it's going to be here, out of the penultimate turn and under the underpass. Can he get close enough?
Doesn't seem so. It looks like after that mistake he gave much breathing room to Alpecin, and he's now closer to Nando Alonso than to Alpecin actually, so he doesn't really need to get defensive, but the distances between cars say otherwise. Looks like Alpecin is pulling away even more. So Pekka really needs to get back into the concentration mode and catch up to the car ahead. So far everyone is doing really well, getting through those twisty chicanes, which should be the most challenging part of the track, but we have seen crashes everyone else but there, I believe. And we are now on the start-finish straight, and it looks like there might be some drafting opportunity. Those cars are equally spaced, so it's hard to tell who will be first to take advantage. Looks like Pekka Koivunen is able to pull alongside Alpecin, is on the outside. And that allows Alonso to get ever so close. And yeah, it looks like Alpine is already going defensive, and Alonso not being close enough. So now Pekka on the outside of the next turn, but with significant speed advantage, he might be able to snatch that position before they get there. Smash collision, and they spin. Won't hit the wall that allows Alonso and consequently Pitbullga to get through, although Pitbullga is having to get this both out to capitalize on that. And now the teammate Fragmaster Rex is right behind Opazon, waiting for his opportunity to get by. And he pits. There it goes.
Yeah, Rex straight into the pit lane. Didn't want to get involved in any of that.
Pezo is now catching up to Pekka Kywanen. They're in the same position like the before, and contact!
Oh, huge contact!
Oh no!
And that's the worst. That's the worst sort of accident you can have. Al not on the brakes either. Oh, and well, that is as a result of tensions getting hot in the chicane. My, that has ruined both of their races, that one. Two very experienced drivers having a big accident there. That's seriously unusual.
Yeah. Both cars have extreme level of damage, so their race is essentially over.
Yeah,
they both seem to be able to carry back to the pit lane, but yeah. At this point, they are just a moving obstacle than racers.
That was a big accident. But there we go. Here's the fight for last place. This is the fight for 17th between Rubstedt and Simon. There was a battle happening. Gap has opened up slightly, but there's fighting all the way up and down this grid, except at the front. Although the gap has come down. The gap's come down from 1.7 to 1.2 seconds in the last 10 laps. So Strutter is slowly but surely winding down the gap.
Now both Pekka Kywanen and Opazon are in the pit lane, so we can witness who gets the faster pit stop. Anything else? They are both stationary for very long, and Opazon managed to get away in 26 seconds, and it was 37 seconds for Pekka Kywanen to get his car repaired. So they are both last and already a lap down, so yeah.
Well, both of them can rejoin, but it is a lap down. Pekka Kywanen also changing tyres, says Chris. And, well, Strutter's gap has gone up slightly. He still holds on to that fastest lap, but TJ is doing just enough on his R1 tyres to keep Strutter behind. Doctor, also running on R1s, is only a couple of seconds back, but has the podium for now, the third place spot. As Happy D has P4, and then there is some void now between P4 and P5. 12.8 seconds of the gap, in fact.
These two are really close to each other, so this looks like the closest battle on the track at this point. But so far it looks like Pitbullga is not able to get close enough to Alonso, so they stay in that order for now. They're both equipped with the same set of tires, and their heat is pretty much the same, looking at the temperature diagram, so this is a really even fight for both of these. It looks like... It almost looked like Alonso is going into the pit lane, but it was a defensive move trying to get Pitbull out of the slipstream, but it will not be enough. Let's see how much faster Pitbull will be in that hole in the air. He's already pulling alongside. To the back. Will he brake later? He should be able. They brake pretty much evenly, but Nando Alonso was more confident through that turn 1 and is able to stay ahead. Right now the gap is too big between them to witness another fight. Now TJ is leading with 1.5 seconds over Strasser, so it's a very safe margin of error so far.
Yeah, the gap's gone up again. TJ took the fastest lap on the previous time round. The gap up to almost 2 seconds, so it really has shifted gears. And the momentum has moved forward. Got Kirku and Pekka. Not Pekka. Yeah, that is Pekka side by side, but Pekka is a lap down, trying to get the lap back on Kirku, and does so. That was confusing for a minute, seeing Pekka and Kirku fighting it out. Nowhere near each other on the timing tower, but there you go. Pekka and Al are fighting out for last place now, after that big crash into turn 1. Super unusual, but that's what happens when tensions get high. 2 don't go into 1.
Yeah, good for them is that we have another race like that in literally 10 minutes from now, so not just these drivers but also us and viewers of this broadcast have something to look forward to even after this race ends. Right now Nando Alonso is into the pit lane finally.
Yeah, it took a super long time for him to realise that it might be a good idea to pit. The damage it's quite substantial, but it's a quick stop with... did any damage repair happen there? Doesn't look like it. So, continues with that rear left camber looking completely bent out of shape. That cannot be good for the tyres. But anyway, Nando Alonso resumes in P8 after his stop. That is Sufor, who we've not talked about at all, really. Just in the background. Botched qualifying, started at the back in P20 and is now up to P9. Having pitted on the first lap, comes out just behind Nando Alonso. As Onifus gets quite close to the back of Sufor there as well. But now Sufor trying to do something behind Nando Alonso, but appears to just be giving slipstream to Onifus as they go side by side.
Almost a 3-white moment. Let's see if they manage to stay away from each other. It was very close, but it looks like Onifus might be able to snatch that lead of this particular group, as now both Nando Alonso and Sufor will be able to take advantage of his slipstream instead. They're now going side by side, but Nando Alonso is in the slipstream of Onifus, so has the speed advantage, and that denies Suffer from attacking.
Oh, he's going to attack. He's going to attack anyway.
Yeah.
Force is the issue. Yeah. Oh, and that was really close. But Sufor, with a bit of commitment, decides that that's the place he wants to go for the move. As Doctor is now leaving the pits and joins behind Rubsteep. Sorry, where has he joined? Yeah, joined behind, or rather ahead now of these cars. That's Simon and Rubsteep, who are a lap down.
Meanwhile, as we watch that Suffer made a mistake in the Chicane section and fell behind Pekka. Now he managed to get the position back, but he's behind Nando Alonso again. So yeah.
Yeah, Pekka will just. Sorry, go ahead.
As soon as he got ahead, he just made a mistake and lost 2 places instead of 1, so yeah, very bad moment for him.
Yeah, I mean, Pekka's a lap down, so Sufor... Well, Pekka won't be trying too hard to get these places. He won't mind so much. He'll just try and circulate. There are points on offer, of course.
So far as less suffering at this point, not being able to get close enough to Alonso, so he has to wait for his opportunity or the mistake of car ahead. As we now had Highveld being in the pit lane for his mandatory stop. So I believe more than half of the field should have done their mandatory pit stop, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you can see in the timing tower that about half of the drivers have done the stop. And the Preso Doctor is the highest ranked driver who did. We've been informed in the background that the mandatory pit stop with no pit fork takes about 18 to 19 seconds, so we have to keep an eye on that, recalculating the possible changes in order. The starter is now out of the pit lane, and he should be able to rejoin in P3.
Yeah, massive gap back to Doctor from the front of this grid. So that now means that Strutter is going to do quite a number of laps with a bit of a gap to TJ, not really knowing what TJ's pace is. So let's see what Strutter can do after the stop. We assume that TJ will leave it quite late to come in for his stop, maybe the penultimate lap. So here he comes to start lap 27, now with a 7-lap lead over Happy D, who assumes second place.
I know TJ is about to catch another back marker, which should be a Spider-Man, I believe. So let's hope that this lapping goes well for TJ. As it's not uncommon for these back markers to cause some chaos for the leading drivers. This tight and twisted street circuit really asks for that, so let's hope it goes very well for TJ. But apparently he should be able to catch him on the straight, and Spider-Man decides that it's safer to enter the pit lane. So that's now a lot of clear air. C4 is now in a battle.
Yeah, fight with Nando Alonso on the back straight. Pekka Koivunen is just there to watch. He can't really get involved. He shouldn't really get involved unless he's got much better pace. Oh, Pekka might be given this overtake for free if these guys aren't careful. But Sufor and Nando Alonso still side by side as they go into the chicane. This is where it must end. You cannot go in here side by side. And just manage to get single file. But Pekka must be so frustrated that he has to follow this around. As Nando Alonso gets a healthy chunk of oversteer out of the penultimate corner and drops back behind. And Pekka Koivunen has decided he's had enough. He's going to try and overtake and get his lap back.
And there was contact between Pekka and Nando Alonso.
Oh, what's he doing? What's Pekka
like
doing? You can't do that. You can't weave around and block a driver with a blue flag. I'm sorry, you can't do that. Nando Alonso is in a fight with Sufor.
Not anymore.
Well, foul play in my book for Pekka Koivunen. Not what you expect from a driver of his caliber.
He just didn't want to wait anymore for these two to fight it out.
That was a red card in my book. Not allowed. Doesn't matter how frustrated you are. The rules are the rules, and blue flags are there for a reason. And Pekka has disrupted the fight for P8 as Sufor pits and leaves Nando Alonso to continue on. Sufor's going into the pits again. Now that's unusual because Sufor pitted on lap 1. So why as Sufor come into the pit lane with 4 laps to go. No work was done to that car, so Sufor has been in the pits for no reason. Actually, for no reason, Michael. There was absolutely no reason for that pit stop. He'd already done one.
Yeah, either he forgot that he's already done one, or maybe he wanted to do some repairs or tire changes and failed to set up correctly. So
that is an own goal. Sufor, the only driver on the timing tower with 2 stops. For what reason we do not know. That's super unusual, as Pit Pulga comes in, meaning that the only 2 drivers yet to make their stop are our race leader and Happy D. And
now I raise a suspicion that maybe Suffer just wants to fall back closer to P15 for the benefit of race number 2. Let's see if he does a third pit stop.
I mean, that you've got to give up a lot of time to do that. Yeah. I mean, that honestly is the only explanation. But he's going to have to lose a lot of time to get down to P15. There are easier ways to get the pole in the next race than pitting. And to be honest, with his pace, battling out for P8, did you really need to do that? I don't think it makes much sense to sabotage your own race like that. So, anyway, we probably will never know why.
If it benefits you in a race number 2, it's definitely possible. At least it's something I would consider if it was in not that favorable position in race number 1.
Well, as it stands, Sufor will start P6 in the next race. And as it currently stands, TJ will start in 15th, as he has
and Sufor has just crashed.
Well.
And almost collected Happy.
Well, maybe he's trying to make his fall from P10 to P15 look genuine.
Yeah. He's down to P11, so...
Now down to P11, yeah, getting closer to pole position for race 2. This is the racing equivalent of match fixing.
Yeah.
That we are witnessing from Sufor. Self-sabotage is the way I describe it, but anyway.
The Happy is not happy about that close call in the chicane.
No, I'm not surprised. For not having a good race in the end, but still with an extra pit stop and a crash, still P11. It's not the end of the world. Happy D.
There are 2 cars behind Sufor, so another staged crash and he's already in P13. So let's keep an eye on him. Well, somebody who really doesn't want to crash is Happy, who is in a perfect second place. And Suffer has crashed for whatever reason again, and in the very same place. It's now P11, P12. I don't even know what his position now is. But we are still 11th. What might... He doesn't go into the pit lane. As we are now watching Happy D in very hefty second place. He still has to make the mandatory pit stop, so that will shuffle him back into the pack. But so far he's having a great pace. As the race leader TJ just got under 1 minute too. We are just about 2 laps to go in the race number 1. Yeah, we are already started lap 33. So if Happy doesn't pit now, he will. So yeah, there he goes. And if we add about 18 seconds to his particular time, he should end up around P5, I believe, P4.
TJ is in and out again.
Happy out of the pit lane as well, mentally hurt, but will be overtaken by Doctor. Maybe not, maybe yes. Yeah, Doctor managed to get alongside just in time.
Down to P4. after that. So it was close in the end. Doctor does regain the podium place for now, but it's super close. I hadn't realised how close that battle was getting. Doctor had a fairly decent advantage going into the pit lane, and I assumed the pace would just extend. But Happy D, fair play, is giving it a good fight. We do need to turn our attention to TJ, however, as Michael he rounds the final couple of corners.
Yeah, this was a perfect job from TJ, leading from start to finish, doing 0 mistakes, and it will be a very well-deserved victory for him as he crosses the finish line now and win the race number 1 of the night. And let's see who finishes in P2. It should be Fragmaster starter. Yes, he is. He crosses the line now. It's very close between Praise the Doctor and Master Race Car Happy D in third and fourth. Only 0.3 of a second in between them. And P5 should be, if I'm not mistaken,
Rex should be.
Yeah, Fragmaster Rex.
With the fastest lap.
Yeah.
Left it to the last minute by the looks of it. Yeah, he did. He did a 1:01.96 on the final lap. Very impressive.
Yeah. With him is his teammate Onefus, then Pitpulga, Nando Alonso, Heivat, Kurko, then from P11, Sufor, Finn UK, Simon, UK Destroyer, Rupsti, Pekka Kuivonen, Spider-Man, and I believe the last car who finished this race should be Fragmaster or Peasant, 2 laps down.
You are correct. Yep. So to recap what Michael put so well, 35 minutes elapsed on the clock and saw Road Appraiser TJ taking the win in race number 1 ahead of Strutter and Doctor. These guys will start in 15th, 14th and 13th respectively, and everybody else I'm about to read out will start ahead of them. Happy D, Rex, Onifus, Pitpulga, Nando Alonso, Highwatt, Kirku87, Suffer, Finn UK, Simon, AK Destroyer and Rubsty will be your pole sitter for race number 2. Pekka Koivunen, unfortunately, will start 16th, where he finished this race with Spider-Man. And Al Payson, your 18 finishers in race 1. Dark finished 19th, but didn't complete the final 24 laps of the race. And the Andro 911, who had all sorts of trouble, DNF'd quite early on as well down there in P20. So yeah, we had a few extra drivers join us from the qualifying session to make our grid 22, with Rocket and Gabri also not finishing. Gabri not starting technically, really, or having an incident on the first lap. Rex got the fastest lap on the final lap with a 1:01.96, and the grid for race 2 is determined, and we look forward in earnest to another 34-lap race around this awesome South City Chicane route circuit. Michael, it should be a good feature race. We've got a really, really jumbled grid for the second one.
Absolutely.
We just heard that Sufor did indeed forget that he'd already stopped. That's a brutal way to learn. But yeah, that's a big error from Sufor, because it could have been quite a good result.
Yeah, that's a very Alzheimer moment for him. I think he will definitely watch out for his pit stops now, because that's a very embarrassing way to lose positions in the race.
Yeah, pulling a great strategy by pitting early in the race and then gaining places, and then forgetting that you'd already pitted is unfortunate. But hopefully he doesn't do the same in race 2, because he'll be starting in P5, which is a much healthier position than his P20 start in race 1. So yeah, the race will be coming up in a few minutes' time. Once the grid has been set, the drivers will be given a comfort break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes' time for the start of race 2, 34 laps, again around South City Chicane route. Don't miss it, it's going to be action-packed. Welcome back to coverage of tonight's action at Fragmaster's Fox Friday the 15th of November, round 44 at South City Chicane Route. We've had one race this evening which ended with lots of tears and lots of happiness from certain drivers, and we are going to do it all over again in a pretty jumbled order, it has to be said, for the start of race number 2, the feature race this evening, with that top 15 reverse grid of the results from qualifying. Here again is that graphic showing you the track, but Michael, the viewers want to see it in person, so let's go to the track and get this show started. Race 2, take it away, Michael.
Yeah, and there we go. We can see Robsty is the lucky guy on the pole position with AK Destroyer alongside him, so it will be interesting to watch these two starting from that very much at front. And they both get a very good start. Who didn't get a good start is Simon, who's already under pressure of both Fragmaster drivers who didn't have much luck in the race number 1. And let's see if there's any shenanigans in turn number 1 like the last time. To my surprise, it's going really well. There's a car off, but only one car, so
that was Doctor.
That's a partial success.
Yeah, that was Doctor. That was not a good moment for him at all. He has got a lot of work to do now to gain places in this race, as we've got a battle for the lead and also for P2 and 3 and for every position, in fact, on the entire grid, as Finn UK there battling with Simon makes the place.
Yeah, and so far it looks like Akestray managed to take the lead from Robsty, who crashed in the chicane and is already out of top 10. And we are now watching a gaggle of cars, mainly Happy in the middle, battling with other Fragmaster drivers. It's 3 wide as the car on the right enters the pit lane.
Happy D pits. Hopefully he doesn't forget that he's pitted, as we've got TJ and who is that? Onifus? No, Rex, side by side, going up the start-finish, straight over start-finish. TJ already up 6 places to P9 and trying to make it 7 as he goes on the outside of Rex into the first corner. We've got big crash in the background. Who's that? Oh, it's Gabri. Is Doctor involved as well in that? 3 cars involved.
It's Pekka Koivunen.
Pekka Koivunen again. Yeah, big damage to the front of that car. As AK Destroyer now assumes the top spot. Where did Robsty go? Robsty's all the way down at the back now, as TJ still hasn't managed to get past Rex. They were side by side going into the chicane. That's allowed Onifus to close back up. So too has Strutter, and now it's dark. Oh, as we've got a gaggle going into the pits, and TJ's one of them. So interesting strategy calls from some of the field here. Oh no! As Nando Alonso has a really big wobble into pit lane, and that's going to hold TJ up a lot.
Yeah, and so will Onifus.
Onifus away, Nando Alonso away, so it's going to be 3 cars trying to exit the pit lane altogether. And that's a nightmare scenario for TJ, who has Onifus right on his outside. Another car ahead. And that's a disaster for TJ.
Happy D goes through.
Yeah, and Happy D's taken the place.
It was a very late car, but Happy D managed to not collect anyone on the way in, and it's now alongside TJ and taking advantage of Nando Alonso's slipstream. It's now a train of 4 cars.
Oh no!
Contact between Onifus and TJ. Somehow they managed to stay in the right direction. Another contact,
and again. It's happening with a lot of drivers tonight. Pekka Koivunen, Al Payson, TJ, and now Onifus as well. And this is not the drama we normally expect to see from the most experienced drivers in this field. The drivers who are fighting out for top positions in the series. Absolute chaos tonight, as more chaos into turn number 1. This is Sufor that we've got in the centre of shot. This is the fight for the lead. We've got Finn UK in the shot as well, right next to Sufor, and just disappearing at the top there is AK Destroyer for Sonoris Racing, who currently leads this by just under half a second at the previous timing line, but that gap has extended quite significantly as the rest of the field have more trouble. Pit Pulga in trouble, so too is Simon now involved in this fight, but Finn UK is the cork in the bottle at the moment.
Absolutely, so much overtaking, and it looks like Simon might want to make the mandatory stop. Instead, it's Finn UK who goes into the pit lane. So yeah, that's one car down, and that allows Cipher to have a clean air and catch up to AK Destroyer. Simon is now battling with Pitbuga for P3. They are going side by side, and not anymore into turn number 1. And they are slowly being catched up by Highwood and Stratter behind them. So this might be a 4-way fight in a minute. But so far, Pitbuga is...
Oh, contact. We've got a side-by-side fight for the lead. It's AK Destroyer defending from Sufor. Sufor trying to go around the outside and does it. He makes it. So from P11 at the end of race 1 to P5 at the start of this race, Sufor finds himself up into the lead. Was the first race result just a ruse? We will have to wait and see. Can Sufor convert his good start into a race victory here this evening? You'd think he has a good chance. TJ has been in the wars with Onifus and into the wall as well, as we have a fight going on with Strutter, who's all over the back of Highwatt now, going over start-finish, Michael.
Yeah, there's by side. There's a car that just left pit lane, but manages to stay out of the racing line. But that didn't allow them to go side by side into the braking zone. And now Strutter should be able to take advantage of Simon's draft and get away from Highwood. So that's a very favorable position for the last mentioned driver. As now Strutter is alongside and already ahead before we even get into the next turn.
Yeah,
so that's Simon dropping into 5th place. Not that bad at all for him so far.
Yeah, good stuff for these guys as they all filter their way through this awesome chicane. It's absolutely brilliant track. When you get this chicane completely hooked up, it's absolutely fantastic.
Pitbuga is putting pressure on the Destroyer. They're already side by side with Pitbuga on the right side in the direction of travel. That should be the inside of the first braking zone, assuming they manage to stay alongside until there.
They did. Nice, clean side-by-side racing.
Yeah, great overtake.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, we've seen lots and lots of experienced drivers having huge accidents in the run down to turn 1, and there we go. It is possible to go side-by-side through there, as AK Destroyer and Pitbuga still fighting it out into the chicane section, but finally AK Destroyer has to yield, and that means he's immediately thrown into the clutches of Strutter as we enter the chicane. So, no side-by-side racing through there. That is not allowed, as Strutter will now pick up a slipstream once again and try to get past AK Destroyer on the straight. We use the roll-top rotatey cam, which is so much fun.
In the meanwhile, Leandro had so hard crash he even left the track. He's now in the void. So
having some big hardware issues apparently.
Yeah, with Strutter overtaking AK Destroyer.
AK into the wall, but Strutter through cleanly. Both drivers giving each other room. That's a note to all the other drivers that didn't manage it. That's called room, or space, or use a thesaurus if you want any other definitions for what that was.
Happily managed to overtake Dark, but we might see retaliation just in a few seconds with the Dark and the slipstream of a PD. Nando Alonso is in a fight with Rex, I believe. So there are two-way battles.
Dark got around the outside there. He has the fastest lap. He has the momentum in that battle. So Happy D dropping down just behind him. Meanwhile, we were watching Nando Alonso, who's still battling with Onifus, and Onifus gets the move done into the chicane and can now set his focus on TJ. Fight for second place. Strutter versus Pitbuga. Strutter will where's he going to go for this? Probably he'll leave it till the highway. Takes a wide line into the first corner, and that's going to set him up nicely for the run down to turn 2. Out of the slipstream outside line, And we've seen plenty of drivers run it around the outside. It's the favoured line for overtaking because it puts you on the inside for this corner, but Strutter not quite able to manage it, and will have to follow through the 4 apexes of this chicane and do it all again on the home straight.
Yeah, and this fighting allows Suffer to create a 3 seconds gap over the rest of the field, so that's a very good situation for Suffer so far. Let's see if Strutter is able to catch up, as we are watching Dark in a battle with a gaggle of cars. One of them should be... who that was, I'm not sure.
The car ahead of Dark is... who's that? That is... who is that? No, Spider-Man. Has he changed livery? No. I'm confused. Anyway. Spider-Man was actually in the pit lane, so we were looking...
Battle for P2 in the meantime, a little contact between Strutter and Pitpulga. They managed to stay healthy there, but Strutter is really impatient at this point. He's already spent so much time behind Pitpulga, and it's almost 4 seconds gap now to Suffer, so he's really losing time and decides to enter the pit lane. He says enough is enough and goes for the mandatory pit stop element.
Yeah, that's a good decision. At least the pit stop will be done, and hopefully Strutter comes out in clean air and can focus on taking time out of some of the other drivers, as we see Strutter set off again down pit lane. Let's get an update on who has already made their stops. Well, everybody down to Strutter, but where is Rex? Rex goes through. No, there goes TJ as well. So TJ gets ahead of Strutter as well, which means that Sufor, if he were to pit now, might end up ahead of TJ even. So that's interesting.
Yes, so far he has the opportunity, but in the long term TJ should have better pace, so if Suffer wants to be able to defend the position in any way, he should pit sooner than later.
Better pace, but also more traffic. We've got Dark, we've got Happy D, all quick drivers, as Sufor is in the pit lane now, so we're going to get our wish. We're going to see where Sufor comes out. Now, this has got to be a really, really quick pit stop. He also needs to not forget that he's done it. Please don't forget you pitted. We don't want to see you in the pit lane again, Sufor. As where
Maybe he's listening to the stream.
I mean, I hope so. We can keep reminding him.
Sufor.
Here comes Rex is going to be on the scene first and flies around the outside. So Rex takes over as the top driver that's already stopped now. And Sufor is too far away, so Rex has done a great job. Sufor has got some work to do.
Yeah, but still Suffer is in front of Dark, Happy D and TJ, which I think is the most important thing in this situation.
Well, Rex didn't have a good race 1, but doing everything right at the moment in race 2, and looks to have opened the opened the gap slightly, with now Pekka Koivunen chasing down AK Destroyer onto the home straight. This is going to be a slam dunk, I think. Straight around the outside, which becomes the inside for the little wiggles. Don't give them corner numbers. But there we go, down to the first corner, and Pekka Koivunen, for now, has P4. DJ in a battle with Happy D and actually gets through into the first corner. Happy D, not a comfortable exit, and the gap opens. I don't think there's time for Happy D to close that back up. In fact, he doesn't even go for the slipstream. But it's now Pitpulga who leads ahead of Simon. Highwatt is P3, but being chased down by Pekka Koivunen, who got past Highwatt's teammate not long ago. As Happy D and TJ still close together. TJ now with the fastest lap. He's taking it off his teammate as Happy D slaps the wall.
Happy D is pushing TJ even in the chat. He's literally writing down him to go faster. So no matter how fast lap you get, he has to keep going. Scorpio 87 is into the pit lane.
Yeah, down onto the lane for Kirku, dropping down a few positions. Mind you, doesn't have to deal with all the lap traffic, so a good time to pit, probably.
Meanwhile, TJ is reporting some damage to his car. Didn't specify what kind of damage.
Well, the damage would have been caused by
the
contact with Onifus at the top of the chicane, if you remember. Onifus tagged the back of TJ, or TJ drove into the front of Onifus, whatever way round you want to inspect the incident. TJ smashed the Armco barrier with the front left of his car quite dramatically. So that would be the damage. You can see it.
Now I realize Sufferer is not the only person with memory problem tonight.
No, you are forgiven. The action has been quite considerable. Forgetting you already went into pit lane, that is a different situation. So
it's a Ferrari strategy.
We knew that he went into the pit lane twice. He did not.
Meanwhile, we have still Simon in P2. He's that high up because he didn't make the military pit stop, but even then it's very impressive for him to be in the second place, even halfway through this race.
Happy D hasn't been able to catch back up to TJ. In fact, he's just been passed by Strutter there on camera and loses another place. Still a decent position, but Strutter really on it tonight and chasing down TJ. Whether either of these guys have got the pace to catch up to Rex and Sufor remains to be seen, but we do still have half the race to go. As now Rex is catching up to Destroyer. This is a battle on track, but they are on different strategies. AK Destroyer has not pitted yet, and this is risky. Side by side through here, not comfortable, but both drivers are giving each other that important space that you need to give. Just a memo for some other drivers.
A very nice switchback from Rex, and he manages to pull alongside even without slipstream, and should be on the inside of the next series of turns, I would say. So as long as they don't collide, he might be able to start the position. Very close.
Very close, but no contact. Again, a lesson to all in how to drive wheel to wheel without writing each other off. And Rex with a brave move, and AK Destroyer leaving just enough room. Nice driving, two battles in as many corners, and it's now Sufor who can try and do the same.
Yeah, and AK Destroyer is now the pressure from Sufferer, who gets alongside on his left side, which should be outside in the front braking zone.
Yeah, Pekka had a look at the back of Highwatt there, and this now Sufor has managed to get through, and that is Dark just behind. Oh no! Oh, TJ, did TJ manage to avoid that? I think we just missed it.
The Destroyer just collected Doctor. So it's a terrible moment.
Yeah, that's a disaster. It just moved off the camera. AK Destroyer had a really big tank slapper out of the first corner, drifted straight back across the track, and then a dodgy rejoin collects another driver. But TJ, I don't know if he made contact. I don't think he did.
No, he didn't, but the Doctor was collected, luckily for him, on the cosmetic damage.
Okay, good. As now Dark is closing up to the back of Sufor. But Rex is disappearing into the distance somewhat.
Yeah, the two Fragmaster teammates at the back of the grid, Opoison and Finucane going side by side over the start finish line. With Opoison taking the lead of this particular duo, and let's see if Finucane tries to get that place back. March goes very wide, and the fight is done because he's too far back now. Sufor is still fighting with Preza Dark. It's so far so good and clean, but it's only a matter of time before Dark.
Oh, that looked late. but it was fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
It looked like a really late move for some reason. Maybe Sufor had to open the brake pedal to avoid that, but it looked like Dark braked super late and now has a great slipstreaming opportunity around the outside.
And Dark is already in front, but I'm sure that Sufor will want to get that place back. And he seems to be very close on the exit of that turn, so should be able to take advantage of the slipstream. Dark knows that and moves away. Will he be zigzagging? No, he is not. You know, he's vulnerable. He's already under attack of Sufor, who will be on the outside. And Sufor bails out for some reason. I think he has seen enough of crashes. Speka is now in a chase with Highlight.
Well, he's just got through, actually. Just moved up to P3. So that move has been made somewhere while we were focusing on the chaos behind. Race 2, Fragmaster's Fox Friday. You might think it looks chaotic, and there's a reason for that. The drivers only get to do this for the broadcasted rounds. This format that they're running tonight is purely for the broadcasts, so they only get to do it when we provide a stream. So it's not something that is practiced as often as the normal endurance kind of variant of this championship. So we do see quite frantic action at the beginning of race 2, but it's only because it's unique to the broadcasted races, so they get less practice in this format, Michael.
Absolutely, and we see more fighting at the expense of interesting long strategy elements and popping tires in the last lap and things like that.
Yes, exactly.
And then we see collisions like the one between TJ and Sufor in a few moments.
There we go.
Looks like TJ managed to get through without any harm.
Oh, it's brilliant moves. Brilliant racing there. The drivers have finally worked out how to overtake each other this evening.
We have 14 laps to go, and still Pitbull and Simon leading the race. It's not very usual these two to be leading the race, but they didn't do the mandatory stop yet, so it's understandable as Sufor is now being overtaken by Strasser. Yeah, Strasser it is. And will he go? No, he decides to play it safely. Instead, sets up a better exit for the highway, like straight, or whatever it is called. And now takes advantage of the less air pressure behind that car, pulls alongside on the outside of the next turn. And if he's confident enough, he should be able to get
this is fantastic
on the outside.
Driving. Brilliant
He'll be
stuff.
on the inside now, but doesn't have much room, and besides, we'll wait for another delay. And hits the wall, and it's on the roof and spectates.
He's gone. Yeah, he's out. Oh,
Yeah.
So unlucky. I mean, looked like he was going to be having a good charge for the podium, and it's gone wrong completely for Sufor. Two dismal races as we see Onifus make contact there with Happy D, and well, I feel bad for Sufor a little bit because he drove fantastically at the start of this race, but it just kind of unraveled. He had some great battles, great side-by-side action, good moves. I hope he watches this back and can hear us talking about his driving tonight, because he's got potential, has Sufor. We see little sparks of brilliance from him, but he just needs to tighten the package up and just bring everything together, and he'll start to get some good results. I'm sure of it.
Well, I'm sure he would be more happy to hear us cheering about his first victory in Fragmaster Fox Friday, but this is also a step forward in some sort. At least we are talking about him. Pitpurga is still leading the race with 7.5 seconds advantage over Simon.
Yeah, we think that Onifus currently is kind of the... Oh, actually, who's gone into the pits now? Happy D goes into the pit lane. So Pitbullga and Simon need to do, and Pekka Koivunen need to do a 19-second trip down the pit lane.
Haywood was in the pit lane as well.
Yep, so those two now leaving. But Rex will take over the lead of the race when that happens. He's only 9 seconds off the top time at the moment.
PD is stationary for a very, very long time, so he might have some big damage.
Big damage from the start, but for some reason drives 23 laps with the damage and then decides to repair it. I think that has to be an error. That damage has to have been repaired in error, surely. Oh no, that's his second stop. So I guess just wanted to get the damage repaired, and that was it. So yeah,
Simon
we will
is
see.
into the pit lane. So that promotes Pekka Keivonen into provisional second place, as he's being chased and being caught up by Fragmaster Rex, who, if I'm not mistaken, should be the leading driver of those who did make the mandatory stop. So should be on the road to victory. Let's see how this unfolds. Simon has left the pit lane and is under attack from Alpezon.
Yes, that's interesting. He managed to resume in P10. And Al Payson will. Oh,
Into the wall.
oh dear. That could have been a lot worse. I thought Al was gonna sneak it around the outside, and Simon wasn't ready for that. Pet Rex has managed to get through Pekka Koivunen before Pekka even comes in the pit lane, and that is move done. Just caught the tail end of that action, but Rex is through, and you can see the damage on Pekka's car. The nose is completely skew whiff. Not having a good race at all, but now about to try. No, surely not. You're not going to try and get back past the net race leader. Not this time, Pekka. We saw your antics from race 1. Don't try that with the net race leader, please. Not today. As Pekka hits the wall.
Yeah, kills himself.
It's just insult to injury tonight for Pekka. Not a good evening at all for him. As TJ and Dark are now on top of each other. Pekka pits.
Pekka into the pit lane. Yeah.
And teammates fighting. We like to see it, but TJ would really like Dark to go away now so that he can try and close up to Rex. Not a lot of laps left. 3.5 second gap for TJ to close up. That is unlikely to happen. Rex is a formidable driver in the Fox, and even someone with TJ's talent will struggle to close that amount of time up in the remaining laps, as Pekka is repairing that damage and will tumble all the way to the back of the grid. Not a good afternoon. Feel bad for him a bit, but some errors that he made could have potentially been avoided. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes you have a bad day, and that's fine. You just got to learn from it. As Rex now... Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, Pekka's pit stop was 37 seconds long, so that was a lot of pit work to do.
Yeah, back in the grid.
Absolutely last and a lap down already.
Yep. Rex now into turn 1 and has an 8.7 second gap to a car which needs to pit. And I believe that's the final car that needs to stop. Oh no, actually Spider-Man also needs to stop. So 2 cars left to serve their mandatory pit stop, as Pit Pulga decides to do 1 more lap at least.
He still has 7 laps to go, so that's essentially 6 opportunities to make the mandatory pit stop work. So currently no pressure, and considering there's pretty much a clean track ahead of him, there's not really much of significant pressure of forcing him into the pit lane at this point. And he should end up around P7, considering the 18 to 19 seconds time loss in the pit lane. So that sounds a very good potential result for Pit Pulga if nothing goes wrong for him.
Yeah, such as the spread of times. Pitbull, yeah, he could end up in P7, like ahead of Doctor. That is impressive. But when will Pitbull decide to pit? 2-4 forgot that he did a pit stop already in race 1. Hopefully Pitbull doesn't forget to pit at all. But no, give him a chance. He's got 5 laps to go before that is necessary.
And we have now cars pretty much equally placed, with no direct battle between anyone. But we can see that Rex has a really good pace, so he should be able to win this race. The question is who will be accompanying him on the podium. So far it looks like TJ and Dark should be the ones to finish in top 3 alongside him. Rex currently just over 8 seconds behind Portuga, who has yet to stop, so it's not a hindrance for Rex in any sense. Portuga stays outside even after this lap. I think it's 90% sure that Portuga will pit in the very last lap, or the beginning of the very last lap, which is the last opportunity to do so legally. And Road to Dark now gets the fastest lap, 1 minute, 1 second, and 99 hundredths, so just under that 1 minute and 2 seconds mental barrier. So that's a provisional fastest laps to Road to Preza team.
A quarter of a second faster than TJ on his fastest lap. So, although he doesn't have track position, he's definitely got the pace to catch him if he can string multiple laps together. But TJ will be purely focused on trying to bring that gap down to Rex, but it's not happening. You can see Rex just going under the underpass, but TJ is running out of laps. He's not going to gain a second a lap on Rex. Rex is doing everything right at the moment to win race number 2.
Meanwhile, in the background, PKK managed to overtake AK Destroyer for the essentially last place in the race.
Well, considering AK Destroyer was at the front of the race at the beginning,
yeah,
PKK might not feel too bad about that.
Yeah, that's a first to last challenge.
That's harsh, Michael.
Yeah, I know. Karma will get back to
It's harsh. Yeah, Pitbull owes the racing gods a pit stop, and here he goes into the box. We expect him to come out around about Onifus and Doctor, in between there some point. That was a very quick stop. Nicely done. Rex takes over P1. PJ will go past now to take P2. It's followed closely by Dark. Strutter goes through as well, and then Onifus is just about to meet him, and does so, sends it up the inside, and there we are. P6 for Pitbull. That was closer than I thought it was going to be. I knew you'd be in this gap somewhere, but I didn't think it'd be that close. Pitbull might be able to get back past Onifus here if we're lucky. On the outside.
Yeah, he'll be outside, but he might be able to.
Oh
no, he's too cautious.
Yeah, I think he could have done that, you know. If he'd have stuck it there, Onifus is an experienced guy. He probably would have given him the space, and we could have had a nice battle. But Pitbull erring on the side of caution, which is totally fair enough when you vote yourself a P6, and has to, just drop back slightly. As Rex now catching up to AK Destroyer. So the leader lapping the previous leader. Doesn't happen all that often. And makes his way further forward in the race with a 3.4 second gap to TJ. And we have 1 lap to go at the end of this one. And unless Rex throws it into a wall, I think the book is written on race 2.
Yeah, Rex has a back marker in front of him, which is K1, and so hopefully that shouldn't cause much troubles for him getting around. Spider-Man is the last man into the pit lane, I believe. He has made the mandatory stop. And rejoins the track in the last place of those who are still on the track. And meanwhile, Fragmaster Rex has entered the final race of final lap of race number 2, which is also a final race by the coincidence, at least for tonight. And I don't see any close battle on the rest of the track, so we might just spend the rest of this lap with him and celebrate his coming into the start-finish section. As for the very last time, he gets through this very twisty and tight section where many mistakes were made. But it was not the case with Fragmaster X, as he gets through that final turn. And only a quick underpass. And he's on the way to win this race number 2 of tonight's Fragmaster Fox Friday event. Crosses the finish line now and wins in 35 minutes 51 seconds and has the fastest lap of 1 minute 1 second 96 hundredths of a second. It's DJ in second place, followed by his teammates Dark in third, and Strutter and Onifus. Pitpulga, a very good result for him in P6. Road to Presa Doctor after the shenanigans early in the race in P7. Next, P8 for Nando Alonso, also a very respectable finish. And there's a side-by-side battle between Highwood and Finucane, who will be there first.
Brilliant.
And it looks like Highwood managed to finish ahead of Finucane by 300ths of a second. So it's P9 for Alpezan, top 10 goes by Simon. And it's, as I said, Highwood just ahead of Finucane, followed by Master Race Cars Happy D, Kirk 87. And there's at least one car on the lead lap we are waiting for.
What's Pekka Koivunen?
It should be Pekka Koivunen. Yeah, there he is in P15.
He's got some fuel. Rex managed to get the fastest lap on the last lap again. Oh, Pekka is out of fuel. There we go. Over start finish. And that is everybody.
So Pekka completed the race in 15, and then 2 cars lap down of AK Destroyer and Spider-Man.
Well, race 2 goes to Rex, who takes the fastest lap, a 101.96, stealing it away on the final lap. DJ takes P2. Dark rounds out your podium, with Strutter, Onifus, Pitpulga, Doctor, Nando Alonso, Payson and Simon your top 10, with Highwatt, Finucane, Happy D, Kirku, Pekka Koivunen, Destroyer and Spider-Man finishing, and DNFs unfortunately to Sufor, who we thought had a pretty good chance of getting a podium today, but it didn't work out. Rubsty finishes 19th. Leandro 911, another incident-prone race, finishes in P20, or classified in B20, with Gabri also not finishing. 2 poor races for Gabri today as well. P21 registered there. But full credit to your race winner in race number 2. Fought hard with TJ, but managed to open up the gap to enough to take the win in the end. There he is. Well, Michael, I enjoyed round 44 immensely. That was a lot of drama with drivers you wouldn't necessarily expect to be causing incidents, but the less we say about that, probably the better. That is all we have time for this evening for this brilliant Friday round of Fox Friday on the formidable South City Chicane Route track. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you can join us for the next one, which is the season finale in a month's time. That'll be happening on December 20th, round 49. All eyes move to that race, Michael.
Yeah, I'm looking forward for that final. Although the championship points are pretty much solved, it's so great to see these guys fighting from the deep of the heart and putting a great show for us and all the viewers here on this sim broadcast.
Thank you very much, Michael, for joining me once again in the commentary box. Thanks to Chris in the background for helping us out with everything that's going on. Thanks to you for watching, and of course, thanks to Fragmasters for inviting us along to cover the first round. Sorry, rather the third week of the month, to cover their Fox Friday action for them. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you can join us for more action on the Sim Broadcasts channel. From all of us here at Sim Broadcast, we hope you have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good one. Good night.
Good night.